Canada is shutting its doors on international students now. It's terrible news, and I want to share with you in this video. They are going after work permits. They already went after international workers and LMIAs, and they're making it difficult for anyone who wants to build their future in Canada right now, thinking to go through the stream of becoming an international student with the purpose of getting permanent residence. Well, things have got just more difficult. In fact, there has already been a 40% rejection rate for study permit applications in the past, and they want to reduce it more by 35% over that. This is guys, crazy. I came to Canada as an international student myself. That was my immigration dream. That was my family lifetime savings to send me to a better country, to be able to study, get education, and worst case, come back home but educated. Best case scenario, get, of course, we're voting for the best case scenario, get a post-graduation work permit, and, well, attempt to stay in Canada and get your immigration done, get permanent residency as well. So yeah, there is a lot of opportunities. Usually this is how it worked, and this is the changes that are coming. In the past, right now, you could come to Canada. It's about to be gone now. So you would come to Canada as international students. Let's say your wife, you say you're a husband, you're a guy, spouse. Your spouse is getting a study permit in Canada, comes as an international student. While she or he is studying, you could be allowed to work full-time to help and support the person who is studying. So that wasn't a great option for families to come to Canada. I came here by myself, so I was not married, so I didn't have anyone to get a work permit, but that's also a great opportunity for people coming with kids and things like that. It's about to be changed. So what is happening right now? How are they slamming international students? Well, guys, number one is they're going to be setting a cap of, well, basically of 360,000 approved study permits, which is down by 35% from 2023. So there are going to be a limited amount of people that can come to Canada on study permits. That means that you should have a really good letter, you should have a really good immigration consultant or a lawyer to bring your case to make sure it doesn't get rejected, so you fall into that quota. Now, another part is they're going by the province, and I can make a separate video. There is insane stuff that is happening right now in British Columbia. I'll publish it in the next video, explain to you what's happening in BC right now. But what they're saying is by the province and by population. So they are trying to make a quota on how many people can come to each province, and based on how many people live in that province, based on the population, how many international students are going to be able to come to Canada. So they are working right now with provincial governments, and you're going to, like, there's already something going on in BC. You're going to see huge changes all across provincial nominee programs for international students all over Canada. And there will be a lot of protests happening from international students who are studying right now, already spent money in Canada, and guess what? They're about to graduate, and their dreams might not come true, and their money could be lost. And this is horrible situation, guys. This is the one thing that I was terrified while I was studying in Canada. When I came here in 2012 as an international student, I was terrified of this scenario to happen. I was like, well, nobody gives a damn about me coming to Canada as an international student, right? So by the time you graduate, things can change, and they did change. Introduction of express entry system, different point system freaked me out at that time because it was something new, and they valued nannies from Philippines over international students from other countries. They would prefer you to be a caregiver at that time when I was doing my immigration. Now things have changed again and again. They changed a bunch of programs, but at that time you could literally get like a carpenter from Czech Republic were preferred over international student who spent more than 50,000 Canadian dollars to get their education done, contribute to economy, actually speaks English too. So I'm just saying, there was lots of bias and lots of stress even back then, but this is crazy. Next part is, of course, applicants. Application need to be need province attestation. So basically what has been happening, guys, That's a weird noise there. What has been happening is that people have been just making tons of money. People have been charging money, and these education providers and private institutions, so to speak, were just literally scamming the Canadian system, where they would be making money, charging international students, providing a low quality of education, in just an attempt to, because there is a business of people coming into Canada to get in their post-graduation work permit. So now the province, the government wants to regulate that to make sure that you're coming and you're getting a quality education, and you're not falling into that scam where people are just trying to take advantage of your money in attempt to sell you like a work permit. So it was like a government protected extortion in a way, almost like an abuse of Canadian immigration system that they are trying to fight. And guys, I still remember when I was studying Centennial College in Ontario, how a batch of students from Niagara Falls College got deported because of the program that they did there, and they had to go through court, and they won the court, and some of those guys even came back from India. It was mainly popular from Indian population for some reason, specifically that college. It was like a cheap education and a kind of a cheap program to get your work permit, and they did something with the, I don't remember exactly the details of the court case, but basically they got kicked out, all of them, and then they appealed to federal court, they won, and they came back. So they won in that case. But anyways, this has been happening before, it's still happening, and government is trying to fight it. Next part is, well, if you remember I was talking about work permits, you could bring your spouse. Well, now only if you're studying for master's, PhD, medical, or law. No work permit will be given to spouses. So you literally, if you have kids and a family, it sounds to me like government of Canada wants you to separate from your family, and basically you have to sustain everyone without being allowed to actually work here full time as a spouse of a person on a study permit, which kind of sucks, defeats the entire purpose. But Canadian government is heading out into elections, and they want to show that they're doing something to make housing more affordable, and of course release and make jobs more accessible for Canadians. That's what their agenda is, I guess. Honestly, guys, it's the politics have changed drastically. It was the immigration minister came out, said one thing, and then he got his wrist slapped by the Liberal government that's in charge right now to change the policy. And then Mark Miller, I think it's his name, showed up and completely started slamming immigration and absolutely changed the tune of the song in terms of immigration. And for the first time in many years, government of Canada is actually slamming the immigration so badly this year. Now, guys, of course, I'm going to publish a video about British Columbia, so make sure you watch my next video, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Students are protesting there. There is a huge change to provincial nominee program. I'll cover that in the next video for you guys, and let me know what you think. Are you an international student? How would it impact you? Do you agree with what's happening, or do you think government of Canada should have done a better job in with what they're doing? First, they increased the amount of funds that you need in order to study in Canada. Now they're taking away work permit from the spouses of people who are coming to Canada. Then they are limiting the amount of people who can even get their study permit. What's next? Let me know in the comments down below, and we'll see you in the next video. All the best with your immigration, and we'll see you in Canada.